English is only a language. Each person can express their inner thought in a different language. English is one of them. To become fluent in English, it is essential to continue practicing and listening to English stories. The Clockmaker's Lesson. In a small, quiet town, there lived an elderly clockmaker named Elias. His workshop was filled with ticking clocks of every size and design, their rhythmic sound weaving a symphony of passing time. People admired his craft, but they rarely noticed the gentle warnings Elias etched onto the faces of his clocks. Time waits for no one. One day, a young man named Samuel entered the shop. He was a dreamer but also a procrastinator, always saying, "I'll do it tomorrow." Samuel had long wanted to start a bakery, but years had passed, and his dream remained just that, a dream. Samuel admired a beautiful grandfather clock in the corner and asked, "Why do you carve those words on all your clocks?" Elias smiled. "Because time is our most precious gift, yet it's often wasted. Would you like to hear a story?" Curious, Samuel nodded. Elias pointed to an old cracked pocket watch on the counter. "This belonged to a man who came to me years ago. He was wealthy but always busy chasing more money, more success. He realized he had neglected his family, friends, and health. He came to me, desperate, and asked, 'Can you repair this watch to give me back my lost time?'" "What did you say?" Samuel asked, leaning closer. I told him the truth. Time once spent can never be reclaimed. He left in tears, but his story serves as a reminder. Use your time wisely, for it slips away faster than we realize. Samuel was silent, the weight of the lesson sinking in. That night, he didn't wait for tomorrow. He began planning his bakery, sketching recipes, and listing supplies. Months later, Samuel opened his bakery. The scent of fresh bread drawing people from all around. He often visited Elias, thanking him for the nudge he needed to value his time. Elias lived to see Samuel's bakery flourish, and when he passed away, the grandfather clock Samuel admired was gifted to him. On its face were the words, "That night, Samuel couldn't sleep." He sat at his small wooden desk, his mind buzzing with the clockmaker's words. With each tick of his wall clock, he felt a pang of urgency. He pulled out an old notebook he had used to jot down bakery ideas years ago. Dusting it off, he started making lists, recipes, supplies, potential locations. For the first time in years, he felt a spark of excitement. The next morning, he visited the marketplace, buying flour, sugar, and yeast. With limited funds, he could only afford the basics, but he didn't let that deter him. He began baking in his tiny kitchen, testing and refining his recipes. The aroma of fresh bread and pastries soon filled his home, attracting curious neighbors who eagerly sampled his creations. Word spread quickly, and soon Samuel was receiving orders. He realized he needed a larger space to meet the growing demand. Remembering Elias' advice, he approached the clockmaker again for counsel. "Elias, I'm doing it. I'm chasing my dream," Samuel said with pride. "But it's overwhelming. What if I fail?" He realized he needed a larger space to meet the growing demand. Remembering Elias' advice, he approached the clockmaker again for counsel. "Elias, I'm doing it. I'm chasing my dream," Samuel said with pride. "But it's overwhelming. What if I fail?" Elias set down the gears he was working on and said, "Failure is just another tick of the clock, Samuel. Learn from it and keep moving forward. The only true failure is inaction." Encouraged, Samuel worked tirelessly. He rented a small shop and turned it into a cozy bakery. He named it Timeless Treats in honor of Elias, whose wisdom had sparked his journey. Years passed, and Samuel's bakery became the heart of the town. People gathered there not just for the delicious bread, but for the warmth and community it fostered. Samuel often shared his story with young dreamers, encouraging them to value their time and act on their ambitions. One day, an older, frailer Elias visited the bakery. Samuel greeted him with a warm smile, serving him a cup of tea and a freshly baked croissant. "None of this would exist without you," Samuel said. Elias chuckled. "I only wound the clock, Samuel. You're the one who kept it ticking." As a token of gratitude, Samuel gifted Elias a custom clock with the inscription, "A life well lived is a testament to time well spent." When Elias passed away, the entire town mourned the loss of the wise clockmaker. Samuel inherited the grandfather clock he had admired years ago. He placed it in a corner of his bakery, where its steady ticking reminded everyone who entered of a simple truth: make time for what truly matters. Samuel lived by those words, ensuring every moment counted, not just for himself, but for the people whose lives he touched, one loaf of bread at a time.